Hi, it's Laura from Hyperstamper. This is a really special one. I had a journal like this that I made not too long ago, actually, from this same Longfellow poems antique book. The cottage was on the full cover, but this one has this beautiful split cover. So it's got this gorgeous cottage scene, which is Longfellow's cottage. The roses up here, and these beautiful rose images on the cloth. There's a stain here. It looks like it would have probably been from an ink pen. The book was probably laid down on top of an ink pen, which would have been the quilled pens. And I used some vintage beads here that I thought matched beautifully the colors on the front here, and I put some vintage crochet down the sides, and I love this book. It's from the late 1800s. Let's take a look inside. Oh, it's so pretty. I couldn't believe it when I found this one. I never thought I'd see another one similar again. This is a little vintage cluster. I've got the original first pages in the book. And like most of Longfellow's poetry books, he used to have a picture of himself in there. So all the publishers had a picture of Longfellow. He's everywhere. I even have this. Look at this little sweet little Longfellow book. It's a very tiny one, but it's a book of his poems as well. And someday I'll make a little mini journal of that one, but I have a lot of Longfellow poem books. I love this Count Your Blessings that I pulled from 1920 music book. And this is just a little gardening piece from a vintage book. Journaling spot on the back, 1950s receipt that you can journal on. And then this here is a vintage piece. Look at this beautiful, showing the architecture of the 1890s. Railway station architecture, just beautiful. And that's all mounted on top of a 1955 American Highways road map. Another little cluster up here. Everything in here is authentic, antique and vintage ephemera. I don't like to use anything commercially used or digital. So everything in here is a real little journey through history. This is from 1915, this beautiful little piece here with kitty cats. That's sweet. This is from a 1930s children's book. And then this here is just a little plate from a vintage book, and in the back is a children's book page from the 30s here, and I put some antique paper on the back to journal on, and journaling spot here. So we've got lots going on in this little piece here and in this little pocket. I just like to put as many things as I can in my journals. There's a beautiful antique book on gardening, and this one is poppies here. Isn't that beautiful? And then this here is a nature studies book from the early 1900s. And this is an early 1900s bookkeeping, or sorry, not early, I'd say the 30s and 40s, a book on bookkeeping, Here is the Wisconsin part of the map on this side, and Yellowstone National Park on the other side. This is a really cool Robin Hood plate. Isn't that wonderful? And that's from the early 1900s as well. Beautiful color plate. You can journal up inside here and up here. And then got a little 1950s miniature playing card. You can play with that. A fun little pocket here with more cats. And here is a vintage linen hanky. Isn't that lovely, with some gorgeous applique in there? And that's going to get tucked right into here. And on the flip side, we have a vintage botanicals page. Look at that. Gladiolas. Isn't that beautiful? Dahlias. Some of my favorite flowers there. And this is a lovely little vintage piece here with the acronym SUMMER there. I love it. And we have here a vintage bird, and from a vintage bird book. This is from the 1800s, brittle, so I glued two pieces together to give it strength. So you can journal there, and you can journal here. And over here we have a crochet piece, how to crochet and embroider from the 50s. There's another one of these wonderful plates from the bookkeeping book, antique book, which I'm also going to make into a journal because it's really got a beautiful front. There's Catching Fairies, pretty little poem here. And I've got my waterfall journaling spots. And this is the cover of a book that didn't quite make it to be a journal, but I loved the back of it. So it's now a journaling tag. I try to use every single piece of a book that I possibly can. Look at this, more of these beautiful gladiolas. Another beautiful vintage song here, Irish song, and then Old Lang Syne, which is a Scottish song. 1930s children's book page again here. This is a different children's book page here that I made a little side pocket in, and this is from a 1950s children's book. Words for Animals. And this here is a handwritten piece from 1889, and that is on a follow-up to a news article. We think those are government documents. 1976, this is a vintage attendance sheet from the Beacon Lodge. Sweet pea at 5 cents a bunch. Just love it. I pulled that from an antique book. And this beautiful, beautiful antique postcard here. There was no date on it, but when I Googled it, I got early 1900s on there. And a 1950s bingo card. That is an original. You can see the beautiful foxing around the edges. You can have all kinds of fun with that. And then here I have two things. Oops, sorry, no. I pulled that wrong thing out there. In there. I have a journaling envelope here that I made from an antique book page, and I have this piece here, which is from 1892, Demarest Family Magazine, that just has the most wonderful images on it that you can collage with. The Diary of an Athletic Girl. Isn't that fun? Lovely with all the stories in there for girls and women. Fun cluster here with the inside of a book. This is a wonderful English plate from early 1902. And look at this fun little plate here. Girl singing to her dolls and stuffies. And that is 1920s. This is from the Arborite Company. This is a countertop sample, Arborite sample, we call it to this day, even if it's not from the Arborite Company. And this is Tan Dixie and Aqua Dixie. Is that fun? So many fun memories from those designs. This is a really cool little piece here from a 1950s music magazine. The best ads ever. Just hilarious. But look at that dress. I swear I would wear that dress today. Look ridiculous in it because, you know, of my age, but I would. I really would. And another wonderful little children's book page with a puppy and a kitty here and here. And I just put some vintage lace here because it's beautiful. And a vintage dictionary page here with some birds on it. And a window pane peekaboo journaling spot here. And here's another one of these wonderful German collectible booklets. I had the whole series and I've decided to finally use them up. This one's on beavers. How cool is that? Almost Art Deco-y designs. Just fantastic little piece there. I just love the covers. If nothing else, you will love the covers. This is, I pulled this out of a Black Beauty vintage book. It was a library card. Doesn't look like anybody ever took it out, but I wanted that to live in there from the library here. And then this came from a hymn book and it is blank, so I turned it into a journaling spot. And I love the name of this antique book page, The Key to Yesterday, which was a book I turned into a journal quite a while ago. That is an antique, or a vintage recipe card that never got written on. I got a whole stack of those from my brother-in-law. Thank you, Jonathan. And another one of these wonderful school book pages. And this little plate here, little boy looking in a toy shop window. So fun. And this here is a very old rug hooking. And I want to say this is from the 1940s. And a fun antique page here. And then this is also the back of a book. I just kept it because it was a very old book and I loved the bright red and the design here. So that is now a little journaling spot. Nothing goes to waste. Key to Yesterday again. Another wonderful children's book page. Princes and Palaces. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. It's going in my Etsy shop now. Hyperstamper.etsy.com. And this will be attached as soon as we're done. Thanks. Bye.